Hi guys, Jessica here from All Ears English. Guys, do you know what to say when someone gives you a compliment? If someone tells you something good about yourself or says something nice to you, what do you say? This can be hard even in your first language. So guys, learn how to make this conversation comfortable and appropriate in English. Guys, listen up. Lindsay and Michelle have some great insight and vocabulary for you today. And guys, remember, you can find out what your English level is for free. Take our fluency quiz, guys. Go to allearsenglish.com/fluency score. Take a short quiz, get your English fluency level, and then free resources that we made just for you. allearsenglish.com/fluency score. All right, enjoy the show.
This is an All Ears English podcast, episode 975. Don't make this mistake when you receive a compliment. Welcome to the All Ears English podcast. Downloaded more than 50 million times, we believe in connection, not perfection. With your American hosts, Lindsay McMahon, the English adventurer, and Michelle Kaplan, the New York radio girl. Coming to you from Boston and New York City, USA. And to get your transcripts delivered by email every week, go to allearsenglish.com/subscribe.
When someone pays you a compliment, should you just say thank you, or should you use it as a bridge to continue the conversation and build the connection? Get the nuances of compliments in American culture today. Lindsay, how's it going?
Michelle, it's excellent. It's a beautiful day here in Boston, and I'm feeling good overall. This is actually this episode's coming out during my vacation week, so I should be on a road trip in the South.
Oh, that's so much fun. Oh, I want to take a road trip. That's cool.
I love road trips, and we are going to be exploring West Virginia area and like the Blue Ridge Mountains, the Great Smoky Mountains, that area. So I'm super excited. I'm happy to be on vacation.
That's awesome. Good. Well, I hope you're enjoying.
Yeah, I hope so too.
That's great. That's great. Okay, awesome. Well, did you just move?
I actually did also just move to a new place here in Cambridge, Mass. I'm still in Cambridge, but it's a new space. So everything feels like clean, like a new start. It feels great.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, that's nice. And it's good to like get moving out of the way, and now it's over with, and now you can just kind of start to enjoy the new area. Is it a new neighborhood?
Yeah, it's a different neighborhood. It's fun. There's bars. Actually, I think some of the best restaurants in Cambridge are in this neighborhood. So that's good.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's fun.
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to receive a lot of compliments about your new place or your new neighborhood?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping we're going to have my parents over for dinner and my brother and his wife at some point. I'm pretty sure we'll receive some compliments. Yeah.
Okay, good. I mean, when you get a compliment, what do you usually say? Like, do you feel awkward? How do you feel?
Yeah, you know what? I think I used to feel more awkward than I do now. Usually now I just say, oh, thanks so much. And then I try to find a way to continue the conversation. Like, it's awkward if I just stop talking there.
That's interesting. Yeah. Like I notice with Dan, my husband. So I a lot of times he'll give me a compliment and then I say, oh, no. Or I say, oh, thanks, but this and this and this. And like, and he's like, just take the compliment. And he's right. You know, like, I don't know. I just want to, for some reason, I think we have this instinct to be like, no.
No, you're right. But it isn't, because it's not, it can be annoying for the person giving a compliment because they genuinely meant it. Right. And if you come back and you say, oh, no, you're wrong. It's not the best thing. Right. I mean, with your husband, whatever. Right. But in general, we want to avoid that for sure.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And we actually did an episode on this. We did one on, it's episode 103, which was about how to show confidence when you accept a compliment. 403
or 103?
Did I say 103? Oh boy. Hello. Okay. Oh my goodness. 403. Yes, episode 403. So guys, go on and check that one out. That was a really good one about compliments. But we're going to get into it a little bit more today. But before we do that, we want to thank our reviewers, right, Lindsay?
Yes, guys, we have some amazing listeners who reviewed us inside the iOS App Store. Guys, thank you so much to Afif Arishi on June 8th, Gazaz Jaz on June 7th from the US, Arkel Hira from Brazil, EBL Lima from Brazil, Sang-Soo Lee from Korea, Siva Lee from Senegal, and Lubia Mayachuk from Russia. Guys, thank you so much. These are awesome reviews. Michelle, they are all 5 stars. Awesome.
Woo! Yay! Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. You have no idea.
Yeah, and these particular reviewers are using our iOS app, and they are able to use our new search bar inside the iOS app, which you can't do in most of the podcast players. So guys, go over and start using the iOS app. Go to allearsenglish.com/bonuses.
Okay, awesome. All right. So let's get into it, Lindsay. It's you actually found an article in the New York Times, right, about compliments, right?
Yeah, I found this a long time ago, but we're bringing it back.
Bringing it back. So, so I took a look at it. It's very interesting. So guys, it's talking about this woman who read on a chocolate wrapper that she needs to accept compliments. So the next time a friend gave her a compliment, she said, "Thank you," but it was awkward. So this kind of goes we said, "Oh, you should say thank you," right? But what happens next? And she kind of realized that in American culture, compliments, they're not just compliments, but they're also just a way of making small talk.
Yeah, it's kind of like a bridge and a kind of more of an opener, isn't it? Often.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And we need to be aware of that. There was an interesting quote from the article. Would you mind reading it for us, Lindsay?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so here it is. So where did this article come from? Was it the New York Times, Michelle?
Yes.
Do you remember? Okay, so this is a quote from the New York Times. So it says, according to experts at the university's Center for Advanced Research on Language Acquisition, 2/3 of the time, Americans respond to compliments with something other than or in addition to thank you. We shift credit, make a historical comment, question the complimenter. Oh, that sounds like what you do, Michelle.
Yeah.
Or lob back a compliment. Other times we downgrade the compliment, or we reject it outright, or we treat the compliment as a request. Interesting. In other words, in the US, the compliment is a coded invitation to chit-chat, and simply saying thank you linguistically slams the door in the complimenter's face. Interesting. Wow.
That is interesting because, I always figured that saying just thank you is good enough, right? Like, oh, I sound confident.
Yeah.
I'm just saying thank you. Like, yeah, that's right. My earrings are nice or something like that, right? And so, we spoke about on episode 403 about ways to respond. And, it's great to continue the conversation, but I never thought about compliments as being small talk, right?
Yeah, this is so interesting. This is something we touched on when we did our live podcast recording in Tokyo as well, guys. If you were at that event or if you listened to that podcast, we talked about how to open a conversation with a compliment. So good. This is such a good tip.
Yeah, it's really important. You have to keep that conversation going if you want to have a connection with the person who gave you the compliment.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. What do you think of this podcast? Guys, we love to read your reviews every week. And when we see your review, we'll announce your name on the show. So review us now in your podcast player or inside the iOS app at allearsenglish.com/bonuses.
And something else interesting in the article, there's a gender piece to this. So the article spoke about how women are supposed to, quote unquote, graciously take a compliment, right? And what this woman realizes that really this is really for all genders. And if you are just sweet and say thank you, you may be ending a conversation you didn't mean to end. Sorry, that last part got a little confusing. But yeah, talking about how, I guess women, oh, thank you, right? But then you're just kind of ending it.
Yeah, so what we're recommending today, that's not the way to do it. I mean, that is not just saying thank you, just as the person said in the article, slams the door in their face. It just stops everything, because where do you go from there? It's so much easier when you have a conversation flowing to keep it going than to start it again.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, they're giving you like a perfect opening, right?
Mm-hmm.
So hold on to it, latch onto it and say, okay, great. Like, where are we going to go from here?
Yes.
I'm going to read one more quote that I thought was interesting. She says, in trying out the supposed right way for a woman to accept a compliment, I learned what such pleasant commentary really signals for Americans of all genders: connection and conversation. I have since shamelessly returned to my previous way, which is to add a little PS or a bit of resistance after saying thank you. To do otherwise would be to miss the big point of small talk. I thought that was really interesting.
So she's saying that she actually does those things that typical Americans do, is like she'll go back and push back on the compliment or deflect it, but just to keep the conversation going. Is that what
Right. I think so. I'm not sure about how much deflecting is still a good idea. I guess that's still considered a part of it. I don't remember exactly what she said about that particular point, but it's instead of, because I've been thinking, oh, just thank you is good enough. And, but really linguistically, she's saying with American culture, that's not what this is about. It's not always about the compliment.
Yeah. She's saying that's not the reason people compliment you. Not always. It's often just to get something going. And if you just say thank you, you're stopping what they're trying to start.
Right. Exactly. I mean, I do think compliments can introduce small talk, but one thing that I was thinking about is, I remember a student telling me that once she was wearing a pin, and somebody passed her on the street in Manhattan and just said, like, I like your pin, and like continued walking.
That's so random.
Right. And she was like, oh my gosh, that's so weird. And like, so of course, we have to think about that. Like, she's not going to have time to start a conversation with this person who just said a compliment as he was walking by. So, it's kind of, you got to think about all of that when you're thinking about your response.
Yeah. So what else do we have to think about then, Michelle, before we respond?
Okay. Well, yeah, there's a lot that has to go on in your head, right? So the first thing is your relationship. So if you're very close with the person and see them all the time, I think maybe thank you is okay. I don't know what you think, Lindsay.
Yeah, because you know that you have other things to work with to start conversations with them, right? So you don't need to bridge that. You don't need that bridge. So in that case, it's okay to just say thanks and then move on. Maybe you'll come back to them 5 minutes later and keep talking.
Right. You're not like trying to build the connection. The connection's already there. So if you want to continue talking about that, that's great. But like, don't like, if your mom's like, oh, I like your shirt, you don't have to be like, well, mom, it's,
Yeah, obviously. Right. Yeah, sure.
That's okay. What's the second thing, Lindsay?
Well, the location, like, where are you? You mentioned in New York. Obviously, someone passing you in the streets of New York is not going to want to make small talk with you. New Yorkers are so busy. They're probably on their way to work or something, right? Yeah. So maybe if you're at a party or a networking event, that's the place to use it as a bridge, but not other places.
Right. Exactly. So like a party, a networking event, whatever it is, but maybe not on the streets of Manhattan. Right.
That's right. Exactly.
And the third one is, really tied into the second one, really, which is about the time. So we have your relationship, the location, and now the time. So what we were saying, do you have time to say something afterwards? Is the person just passing you quickly? Are you in the elevator? Are you, I think that the overall theme is, what kind of a connection are you looking to build?
Yeah. That makes sense. Where are you and what kind of connection do you want to build? What's the point of that compliment? What was that person? I think a big piece of connection is like figuring out what was the person's intention behind their words, right? Because they may use certain words, but that's not always what they're going after, what they're trying to do.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Right. And so many times, sometimes maybe we talked about this in the other episode. A lot of times people just throw compliments out there. It may or may not be like the most genuine thing every single time. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, and this is very cultural too, right? I mean, across cultures, I mean, if we're talking about different cultures, they could be using compliments for different reasons. It could be less common, more common to give compliments. So this is a big topic here.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I think it comes back to reading the person, having that empathy or working on our empathy and seeing what is this person really wanting to do right now, right? Are they wanting to have a longer conversation with me or just give me a compliment and move on? Like, what's the point?
Right. So if you're at a party and somebody comes up to you and says, "Oh, cool, shoes or whatever," take that opportunity. I mean, if you want to talk to the person, maybe you don't want to talk to them. But
right. We could do another episode on if you don't want to talk to them at all.
Right,
how to kind of get out of a conversation. That would be a good one, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, that would be funny. Yeah, I mean, if the person says that to you, I guess, at your stage, you are looking for any and all ways and any clues of good ways to continue a conversation with someone in order to build that connection. So
exactly.
This is one of the big clues that you should be looking out for. So if somebody says that to you at a party, "Hey, thanks. Oh, I got them yesterday. Have you ever shopped at that store?" Or something like that. Use it.
The bridge, right, Michelle? Love it.
Absolutely. So, Lindsay, what's the takeaway for today?
I mean, that is the takeaway.
Exactly.
I think we said it, Michelle. I think that's it. I think that's the overall idea. Just being aware of where we're at and what the person's motivation is in connecting with you. What are they trying to do? So that's connection right there.
Oh, yeah. This episode is totally about connection, not letting a compliment just go by the wayside, by just saying thank you and, really just thinking of it as a form of small talk more than anything.
You got it, Michelle. That's awesome. And I want to remind our listeners, guys, if you're taking the IELTS exam this year, go on over and subscribe to the IELTS Energy podcast. All right. You'll get your top tips for your 7 or higher over there. And Michelle, I think that's it for today.
Awesome. All right. Well, this has been fun. Great job, Lindsay.
Oh, well, thanks so much, Michelle. I think you did a great job as well.
Thank you, Lindsay. Okay,
nice
guys, have
there.
A great day. Bye, Lindsay.
All right. Bye. Thanks so much for listening to All Ears English. And if you need a 7 or higher on your IELTS exam to achieve your life vision, then our Insider Method can get you there. Start with our free video series masterclass. Get video 1 now at allearsenglish.com/INSIDER. And if you believe in connection, not perfection, then subscribe to our show on your phone or on your computer. See you next time.